it's Romy. Welcome to the channel. Thanks so much for taking the time to tune in. Cancer, this is your May 2020 reading. If you are Cancer Sun, Rising or Moon, this is a general reading for the month ahead, but it might resonate for you. If it does and you're enjoying my work, please do go ahead and support me by dropping me a like or comment, making sure you're subscribed to the channel. And you can also purchase the extended reading. The link for that is in the description box below, as is all of the links for how to connect with me over on my website, Facebook and Instagram. Okay, Cancer, let's take a look, see what's coming out for you this month. Okay, Cancer family, let's take a look and see how May 2020 looks for you. So we're in Taurus energy, nice earth energy to give you a little bit of grounding and focus. We also have 4 planets retrograde through the end of April into May. And with that, an opportunity to revisit and reevaluate, I feel, some of those aspects of your life where you have really made tremendous progress. And I think it is time to take stock of that and even realize just in the last few weeks with, you know, everything that has taken place with this global situation we find ourselves in, just how much that has changed you as well. We open up your reading with the wheel, and you know there is a very fated quality to what is coming in for you, I think, through this month of May, Cancer. And I have a feeling like not only is it about new connections and ideas that are about to drop in, but it's just things taking a different turn than perhaps you might have expected. Okay, so there could be some new paths being laid down, or you find yourself moving off in a completely different direction to what you had anticipated. And some of that is really going to open up new opportunities and some expansion. Of course, there is a sense of perhaps feeling a little bit unsettled about that, because perhaps you already had a very clear idea about what the way forward was, or where a specific relationship or, you know, something that you've been doing in your work or, you know, your personal life, and then all of a sudden with what has happened, that's kind of all been thrown up into disarray. But the wheel comes in and says, you know, we're about to bring in some real interesting twists to the story, and you need to be open. You really need to be open-minded as to what's going to show up through this month for you, okay? On the 7th of May, we've got a full moon in the sign of Scorpio, which is 5th house for you. So it's lighting up that creative energy, that romantic, passionate energy. And I think with its very compassionate, sensitive aspect that's coming in as it trines with Neptune, you are going to find yourself really, I feel, connecting with some really interesting people or ideas, and feeling your way into something that is quite exciting. So here we have the Magician also showing up, another major arcana for you. You know, this isn't about having to reinvent the wheel. This is about understanding that you have so much at your disposal to work with right now, and perhaps just having a little bit more time and energy. You know, maybe there's been a little bit of renewal and rejuvenation through this last few weeks for you, Cancer. Now's the time that you get to really focus on what you want to manifest, starting to look toward the future now, starting to plan and have a vision about what feels good, and maybe seeing possibilities where previously there hadn't have been. I think between the wheel and the Magician, you're definitely showing as having some really powerful manifesting energy at the moment through this beginning of May, and you need to harness and work with that and make sure that your thought forms are really aligned with what it is that you want to bring in. But I do feel that there's a requirement that you be very open to what shows up. So don't move into the kind of rigidity and stubbornness of Taurus energy. Instead, take on the creativity. You know, feel your way into it. Take that sensuality to kind of come into the, what do I feel passionate about? You know, what is still around me that is exciting and inspiring me at the moment? And if you don't feel that way at all, if life is really giving you a hard knock right now, Cancer, then know that again, that wheel is bringing in a change. It's bringing in a swift change of energy. You just need to be poised and ready to embrace that when it does come in. Because what it's showing up is the opportunity for all of your senses to be activated. You know, I feel like this is a real kind of tactile, sensitive month where you can if you make the conscious choice, actually start to really like revel and kind of enjoy so much of what might have felt previously to you just quite mundane or quite uninteresting. So there's almost like a kind of renewal energy to falling back in love with things that perhaps you haven't had the time or the inclination to really put much focus on. You know, all of these retrograde planets inviting you to deep dive and have that chance to revisit some things. There's definitely the opportunity, I think, to begin something new that feels really juicy for you. It just, you know, and whether this is about a new connection, a new love connection coming in, whether it's about just a complete change of how you approach your whole self-care, a new initiative, an idea, but whatever it is, it's really filling you with some beautiful energy of positivity, and there's an emotional aspect to it, you know. And I think for some of you it could be that you finally feel like you have the opportunity to go after something or to change something in your life that has felt stuck for a really long time. Remember though, with that cup, it's really important to make sure that it's completely filled for you first before you start to give out to others. When the cup is overflowing, that's when you're ready to be able to give from a place of being really centered and aligned in your own energy. So the Four of Coins coming in, and I think this is really reminding you that you are more secure than you might appreciate at this time. So even if your external set of circumstances are still feeling super unsettled, I'm being inclined to say to you that actually, you know, that inner sense of security is going to be building powerfully through the month of May, if you allow yourself to tap into the energy of where that is, and really looking to invest your time wisely. You know, there is a change of fortune coming in for you, so I think for those of you who are really concerned in and around finances and security at the moment, there are new ideas that are giving you the opportunity to perhaps like strike out in a slightly different direction, or to look at something from a different vantage point. And what that's going to do is give you the opportunity to regain any loss. Now, maybe not straight away, but you're absolutely putting the firm foundations in place. There's also money coming in, and I think that you're being invited to be pragmatic about the kind of, I guess, the more practical aspects of what needs to be done, but also like don't focus so firmly on you know, the restriction of where you find yourself, because there's something that's happening for you in this month of May, Cancer, that's like removing an obstacle. That's what I feel is happening. It's removing an obstacle, and what it's going to do is allow you to step into the light a little bit and to be able to move forward. And I think for some of you, actually, to get a little bit of a karmic reward and a karmic uplift, you know. So anything that you feel has been removed or taken away, or you felt like left high and dry, I think May could absolutely afford you something to come in to replace it that feels, you know, even more exciting to you. I think the important thing at the moment is that you take the time to actually believe in yourself. You take the time to have a vision that's so solid and so locked in that nothing else will suffice. So if you are moving through the month in a really lack-based mindset, or really focused upon the hardship or the challenge or the frustration, it's likely that even if some of these energies start to come in, you're not going to fully be able to feel into them as much as you could. In fact, you may even find with that retrograde energy coming through that it feels like I'm back where I started. However, I would invite you to really think differently, because what your cards are saying to me today is that there is movement forward, there's success to come for you, and there's something about you kind of dropping any story that the ego is trying really hard to play out around you at the moment. So don't move into that space of feeling restricted or hard done by, because what I see is choice on the horizon, and I see coming together with like-minded people, people who are really on a vibe with you, and I think that you have the potential to create something really special and really unique. From a relationship perspective, there is a lot of love coming forward, and I feel some heartfelt expression coming your way. For some reason, Cancer, I have you feeling quite held back. So perhaps you're not quite sure whether you want to kind of put your heart on the line or you're ready to reciprocate. And I think that's okay. Maybe you're still kind of figuring out where you stand with a particular connection and what that means. I think you're very clear about what it is that you're looking for, and that those standards should absolutely be something that's at the forefront of your mind as you look to see how far you've come and make sure that you don't slip back. You know, I think sometimes it can be very easy when we find ourselves in a set of circumstances that, you know, leave us feeling a little bit vulnerable to just jump back into a situation. Remember, Venus retrograde in Gemini on the 13th, which is 12th house for you, you know, so something that perhaps ended or had already closed out, you might find is reopening or you are revisiting. If that is the case, just be mindful about, you know, what led it to that final conclusion in the first place before you jump back in, is what I want to say. Two of Wands has you being very much in the mindset of planning, though. This is what I was mentioning earlier. I think it's important that you start to think about what comes next. What's your 3-year plan? What's your 5-year plan? Look beyond this current limited experience that you find yourself in and take the opportunity to really see where you want to find yourself, both from a physical experience in terms of the way you want your life to look, but also from a very spiritual place, right? Because when we move into Gemini season and we're in 12th house for you, and it is really inviting you to look at your spiritual practice, your connection into your higher self. So how do you want to develop yourself at that soul level? And I think so many are awakening or kind of coming to profound new awareness about themselves, you know, perhaps going through the biggest breakup of your life with an old pattern within yourself, is what I want to say. And perhaps a lot of that has been really focused around some kind of ego-based thinking, and now you're being invited to tap more into your spiritual self, where you're really receiving those downloads and being able to work with that energy in a tangible, physical way. So make sure that that relationship between you and you is the priority, and you're really sending that deep love and compassion inwards. But the journey, if you like, the journey that you've gone on, even if you look back through this month of March and April, and how perhaps you've responded, how things have triggered you, in terms of the collective energy, it's going to give you such rich information about where there's still work to do, where there's healing to take place, and actually where you can be really praising towards yourself at the inner strength and resiliency, and perhaps the way that you've been able to show up for yourself and others with compassion and a newfound sense of you know, healthy self-respect as well, is what I feel. So Temperance energy coming in, it could be a Sagittarius that you are dealing with, but I also just really like that this energy is coming in to remind you that you are on this path, and you're on this path towards this beautiful, bright, radiant sun linked into the halo here. So what's coming down the line for you, I think, is far more spectacular than what you can even get a handle on right now, Cancer. So be bold in your thinking in terms of what you want, what you're looking for, and what you want to invite in through this month of May. It's going to be a powerful manifesting time for you, and I think you're going to start to see some fairly immediate results, because I do have a swiftness that comes in. There's quite a lot of Mercurial Gemini energy with the Magician and the Lovers, but also with that wheel coming in, and the Ace of Cups is bringing in that beautiful potential. So where do you want to direct it? What do you want to do with it? Two of Wands is inviting you to plan, to take control, and know that you need to make some adjustments, and that you do have to have a little bit of patience. This isn't all going to come together straight away. And remember, in retrograde, you know, it is the time to kind of recalibrate and really, I guess, like allow yourself to open up to a different way of thinking. In doing that, 7 of Coins, you are planting powerful new seeds for what's about to come. Now, taking stock of what has transpired, and why do I want to say, I think that when we link into relationships, I think that there's offers coming your way, and you're going to have to take some time through this month of May, Cancer, to really think about what that means to you. So whether that's coming forward on a business or a personal or someone within the family, but someone's coming forward with something and they want your input, they want to know where you stand on a particular matter, okay? And I feel that it's important that you really assess for yourself, does this meet with where I see myself, not just now, but down the line, because this is the time to make those powerful changes, right? This is the time when the kind of the fate is kind of on your side and willing you forward. So you can wield and harness the energy really powerfully. And I like this 7 coming in, inviting you to not have to rush too quickly to go back to people. You know, Temperance and 7, you know, this is about being patient and knowing that you're allowed to take some time to think something through. You know, do you want to go back into a relationship? Do you want to take it to the next level? Are you on board with what their decision is about where things might go? And I have this sense of you kind of, this holding back energy is also because you need to just figure out clearly what your heart is telling you, right? What your heart is telling you. What you don't want is to be absorbing or picking up too much energy from other people, so it kind of muddies the water for you a little bit this month, Cancer, because I feel like there's a lot of really rich possibility coming your way, and I think your guides don't really want you to get too distracted. That said, you know, if you are really focused on, you know, what's happening in and around my relationship through this month of May, I think we have some really beautiful energies coming in. I would just say perhaps you need to make sure that you are opening up in a way that they are clear about what you feel and where you stand on the matter. Otherwise, it could lead to a little bit more confusion. And just be mindful if you are entering back into anything, is what I want to say, because there's a little bit of a quality of kind of dissatisfaction that I pick up around that 7. So jumping in too quickly could see you going back into an old narrative with somebody, realizing perhaps they haven't changed as much as what you have or what you would like them to have. So your oracle card is Homeward Traveler, completion, reunion, return. So there is this aspect of reunion perhaps taking place. Now maybe you're reuniting with yourself or with an idea, an initiative, or maybe it is specifically a person. If this is the case, you know, there are a lot of lights kind of illuminating this path, okay? Now I can kind of look at this two ways, because I could say these are the lights that are showing you, oh, here's the red flag, don't get drawn in here, but also the way to say this is the way, this is the right approach, this is the right person, this is the right connection. And I think only you're going to be able to feel and sense what the answer to that is going to be and what it's representing to you, okay? The river is carving its way through this kind of mountainous range, so it's going to find a way forward. You are not stuck. There's a lot of beautiful flow and movement in this month ahead for you, Cancer, and I think that you are going to find that refreshing. Remember, as we move into Gemini season, 12th house for you, it is going to require some rest and some contemplation and some deep counsel into your spiritual self to really find the answers, okay? It's in that commune with yourself, with nature, with, you know, whatever you see as that source energy in your life, that you're really going to make the right choices for what comes next. And I think it's important that you listen into that. We have a new moon in Gemini happening on the 22nd, and I'm just really feeling compelled to say that there's something significant in and around that date for you with regards to a key relationship, okay? So if you're waiting on something happening, or you're going to make a decision or a choice yourself, I feel that it's around that new moon time that you're really starting to see things opening up. and you have a much clearer indication about what might happen next, or where you get to decide what happens next. Okay, so your animal card is the tarantula, and it talks about connection again. Okay, what's interesting with this is that she's reaching, you know, she's reaching for the connection here, but there is resistance. You know, the web that's all around her, is this your thought forms like tripping you up or taking you back in? Is somebody trying to pull you back or call you back into a web that feels kind of uncomfortable or messy for you? Remember, spiders do give us amazing protection as well. Okay, so you might find that there is someone, or even your own higher self, that wants to protect you at this time, so that you are making the right decisions and choices for you. Trust in yourself first and foremost. She's lying on the ground here, so there is this kind of need to connect and ground your energy into the earth, and beautiful time to do it in Taurus season. And I think that's going to help you to make sure that anything that's going on in your heart space is really aligning with what's right for your best and highest good. Okay, if this is looking at it more from a professional work capacity, again, we have some creativity, and there's some real strength if you think about the spider's web and how strong it is, and how they're able to create those webs in you know, any kind of a space, and really quickly build something that, you know, is sustainable and can really provide house and home for them. So for me, there's also almost like a recovery aspect to this that sees you being creative and putting something in place that's going to be even stronger than ever. Okay, but the connection for me is the connection into yourself, into the earth, but also just being mindful about the people that you're inviting in and where you're directing yourself at the moment, and whether they're good for you and it's what you want moving forward, because now's the time to make those changes if you feel compelled to do so. Okay, Cancer, I hope that's given you some illumination for this month of May. Please do make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any further notifications. If you would like to join me for the extended reading, we'll go ahead and pull some more cards to get some additional insight into this for you. I would invite you to think about a question if it hasn't come up in the main reading, and we'll go ahead and pull a couple of cards for that for the extended. You can find the link for the extended in the description box underneath. Okay, and I'm using these beautiful mermaid cards, which is the first time I've used them with any of the signs for the YouTube readings. So you're my first for these beautiful mermaid influenced cards. Let's take a look. Okay, so think about that question for me. There's a couple of cards that we're going to pull for that. All right, let's just now look to clarify this 9-card block. See what comes through. So the wheel is bringing in the card of strength, and also the 2 of Wands again. Okay, the Magician bringing in the 6 of Swords, 10 of Cups, and also the Empress wanted to come out there, so we'll just take them all. Queen of Coins coming in with that Ace of Cups. Maybe it's an earth energy that we're talking about here in terms of the connection. But certainly someone's coming forward with an offer for you, I feel. Okay, 4 of Swords and the 4 of Coins. So there is more stability coming in. Okay, another Lovers and 2 of Cups. Okay. Partnership, union, connection. Maybe there's a Gemini that is part of the equation here. We have the card of Death, so renewal and transformation, possibly a Scorpio energy here as well. We'll look into that in a bit more detail in the extended. So we have 2 of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles coming up as well here. I think just reminding you that, you know, where you apply the focus and dedication, you are going to make real strides this month. Temperance is bringing through the Page of Pentacles. Look at that beautiful rainbow coming in. Lovely. Okay, 7 of coins, 4 of pentacles again, and the 10 of swords here. Okay. Remember, in retrograde season, things that we felt were over and done and dusted, there is a chance to revisit. So, okay, 3 of wands with that homeward traveler. And one more here. Okay, we have the sun with the tarantula. Beautiful. Okay, Cancer, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate you tuning into the channel. I hope that's given you some insight. I really look forward to connecting with you next month. And if you'd like to join me, then I look forward to continuing this narrative with you. Take good care, sending you bright blessings.